In this part of the series about the two knights defense, I'm going to cover the main move in response to 5 pawn to b5. So after pawn to b5, the main move is bishop to f1. This is something your opponent must know to play, because this is a very strange looking move, but it's the best one. The idea is that after bishop to f1, the pawn on d5 is still hanging, and if white and black takes with the queen, then knight to c3 will follow with great force, because then g2 will be already protected. Also, after this retreat, the bishop here is safe, and the white and the black's pawn structure has been compromised slightly. So black has to decide how to deal with this pawn on d5. And the move that I'm going to suggest is consistent with the rest of the repertoire, but it is not the most expected one. So this move is pawn to h6. Before deciding what to do about the knight on the pawn on d5, black wants the opponent to commit whether this knight is going to go to f7 or somewhere else, or to f3 really. So in this video I'll cover knight to f3, leaving the knight f7 line for the last video. Moves like knight to e6 are fun, but they're not really the best. The idea is to compromise black's pawn structure, but black here still has free development, it still has a powerful f-file. In fact, in this game, Morozevich had to return the pawn and then play for the weak light squares, but black is on time to castle, so this is really not that promising, especially given that the c6 pawn is weak. So, just as a side note, this is not very good move. Knight to e6. Knight to f7 is the best move, and I'll cover this later. And here I'll just cover knight to f3. It's a natural retreat, but the problem is that it will later be harassed with pawn to e4. Now, here black has to capture on d5. It is tempting to play pawn to e4, but that backfires after this move, because now the knight is pinned, and also the rook will be hanging here. So this is a trap. Don't do this. After queen to d5, however, white does get to play the natural knight to c3, but because white has played some awkward moves, like had to move the knight and bishop back on his last 2 moves, this is okay here. The main idea to remember is black has to castle long. So he goes queen e6, and after, well, here white has a choice. We'll cover bishop b5 as the main move, developing an undeveloped piece. But in case of knight to b5, black has to play this careful move, queen to e7, after which he's ready to castle long, and a possible continuation could be like this. Black still has the center here, so white is a bit awkward with his development. And in particular, the center comes into play when here black plays pawn to e4, and now this really inconveniences white greatly. The knight has to retreat, and now also this knight is getting harassed. So there's an attempt to defend that knight white captures, but then the line could go like this, and suddenly f2 is a problem again. The knight on b5 is hanging in the case of capture, for example, so white tries to counter attack, but then in this game his position just fell apart due to this discovered check. And black here is better, and he won this game. So very natural play, long castle, go for the e4 push. After queen e6, bishop to b5 is probably more natural, but here the play is not very different. Long castle, and at some point black goes knight d4. We've seen this before, where black tries to take advantage of the undevelopment of the white's queen side and jumps with the knight to either e4 or b4. Here, just the analysis is such that this is fine for black. This opens up the bishop on the long diagonal. This jumps into the center with gain of tempo. The fact that black is down a pawn here is compensated by the concrete variations. So knight is under attack, it has to retreat, and then black regains a pawn on g2. And here he has good development, reasonable pawn structure, and he managed to disrupt white's pawn structure as well. There's still some play here going on, but concretely this works out to black's advantage. He will have active play, and white is still undeveloped and disorganized. Either recapturing on f8 will give black some great play on the f-file and on the weak light squares, or defending it as it happened in this game. Again, the better development gave black a good play. Illustrating all this, well, what all this is illustrating is that after bishop f1, white has concretely some good chances, but they're actually not lying in the knight to f3 line. Knight f3 line is relatively harmless, because again, black goes for faster development and queenside castle and play with his active bishops and knights. All in all, generally easy play for black, and the main problems begin in the knight f7 variation, which we'll examine in the next video.